Guys, so we are starting a new module and we're going to start off with measuring, and we're just going to kind of compare the lengths of a pencil. If you are doing this with us from home or in the classroom, I have a pencil that we're going to use, so I don't want you to worry about your pencil. And so what we're going to do is we are going to just kind of plot this. I know that on here it says construct a line plot of your classmates' pencil measurements. I had a problem when I was pulling a pencil out to try to find a pencil. Most of the pencils that I had went over this ruler. So instead of plotting our classmates' pencil measurements, what I'm going to do then is I am actually going to give you about 7 or 8 measurements that pencils could be. And then we're going to plot them kind of together. So we're going to kind of pretend already that people have already measured pencils and we already have this. So this just kind of helps with that. So the first thing it says is to estimate the length of your pencil to the nearest inch. So I have a pencil right here and I'm going to put it just right here. We'll put it going this way so you guys can't see with the ruler. I want you to tell me how long do you think the pencil is to the nearest inch? So I'm going to estimate, and I'm going to say that this pencil is probably about 5 inches to the nearest inch. Okay. And it says using a ruler, you want to measure your pencil strip to the nearest 1/2 inch and mark the measurement above with an X on the ruler below. So I'm going to put this pencil onto this ruler, and I'm going to use this ruler just because I have it. I want to make sure that that pencil eraser is lined up to that 0. You don't ever want to line it up to the end of that line. You want to line it up to that 0. So if I were to look at this, like right now I've got my pencil, if I were to measure this, gosh, guys, that's right in between that 6 and 6.5. So I'm going to say that this pencil, gosh, guys, that's really close. I'm going to choose, you know what? I'm going to say that it's close to 6. Okay. Now I'm going to pretend that I had some classmates measure some pencils, and I'm going to say that each classmate had a pencil that had 4 inches, 4.5 inches. I had one that had 7 inches. I had one that had 4 inches again. I had a 5-inch pencil. I had a 7-inch pencil. I had a 6.5-inch pencil, and I had a 3-inch pencil. Okay. So what I'm going to do now to construct this line plot is I'm going to go through, and all of these measurements that I had is I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, well, I've got 4 inches. I'm going to put an X above 4 inches. 4.5 inches, I'm going to put an X above 4.5. 5 inches, put an X above 5. 3 inches, put an X above 3. 7 inches, put an X above 7. I have 4 inches again, and because I already have a 4-inch, I'm just going to put that X right on top of it. 7 inches, oops, let me move this 3-inch again. I'm going to move this 3-inch that we've already done up here. I'm going to put that 7 right there because remember I already have one, and then 6.5 inches. So if I were to look at this, this is how I would plot this. And if I have more than one on this plot, I just put it right above it, all right? So using the ruler, now I'm going to measure my pencil strip to the nearest 1/4 of an inch. So when I look at this, 1/4 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, these are each 1/4. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then I have 4/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then I've got a full whole number, okay? So I'm going to put this pencil here. And I'm going to actually say to the nearest 1/4, if I were really to look at it, it's actually really close to 6 2/4. Now I know that that is a, that can be simplified, but I'm just going to leave it because it just says the 1/4 of an inch, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put my X here. And then I'm going to pretend that my pencils that I had were 4 1/4 of an inch, 4 3/4 of an inch, 5 inches. I'm going to have 7 inches, 4 1/4 inch, 7.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 2 more that I need to do on here. I'm just going to come over here. Let's do 6 3/4 of an inch, and then I've got 2 3/4 of an inch. So when I come here, I'm going to look, and I'm going to do 4 1/4. So I've got 4 and then 1/4, 4 3/4, 5 inches, 2 3/4, 3/4, 6 3/4, 7 inches, 4 1/4, and then 7 1/2. Okay, now I had to figure out that 7 1/2 because that is 2/4, but I know that 2/4 is actually equivalent to 1/2. So some of these guys you're gonna have to really be careful on because sometimes it might give you the simplified version and you might have to find that unsimplified. Okay, if you kind of notice between the two data that we've put on here, my measurements are kind of getting more accurate, more precise as we go. So that's kind of interesting to see this, that we're spreading it out because we're getting more accurate. Every single time we get down to the smaller fraction of an inch, we are able to get a more precise and accurate measurement, okay? So I need to hold this because I've got my box on my desk. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this ruler and I'm going to measure my pencil to the nearest 1/8 of an inch. And so if I count this, I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. So my pencil is actually 6 3/8 of an inch long. Okay, so I got more precise measurements. And so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make my measurements like if I had my pencils. And I'm gonna do 4 1/8 of an inch, 4 7/8 of an inch, 5 1/8 of an inch, 2 6/8 of an inch, 6 6/8 of an inch, 7 1/4 of an inch, 4 1/2 of an inch, and then let's do 4/8 of an inch. Okay, so now I can go ahead and I can plot these. So I've already plotted mine, so I have 4 1/8. So these ones, guys, if you need help figuring out where those measurements are, you can go ahead and label them to help you with that. But because I know that it's 8ths, I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then of course 8/8 is going to be that whole, okay? So I've got 4 7/8, 5 1/8, 2 6/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8, 6 6/8, 7 1/4. So here's what I would have to do. If I had 1/4, I would have to make an equivalent fraction that had that 8. So I know that I am looking for 2/8. So I'm looking for 7 and then 2/8. 4 1/2. I'd have to find that equivalent fraction for half. Is going to be 4. 4/8. So it's going to be 4 4/8. And then 7 4/8, I already know is 7 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4/8. Okay, so as you guys look at this, I mean, look, now I've gotten down here that not a lot of my pencils now have that same measurement, but it is definitely spread out.